Hey, all you Hollyweirdos. We're hoping you're having one hell of a spooktacular September as we're gearing up for Halloween, the month of October. As you're listening to this episode, as I'm recording it right now, we are already at 53 days till Halloween, October 31st, 2024. It's just literally around the corner. You take a deep breath, and we already are jumping into our costumes, preparing our Halloween candy, and going out trick-or-treating. Some of us are already playing this episode as we're putting up our Halloween decorations. Hell, some of us already have them up year-round. So as Halloween is approaching, we are approaching our chaotic month as we are gearing up for shows, for investigations, and special guests. Speaking of special events and investigations, you have heard about this little Paracon that is brewing and will be manifesting September the 13th through the 15th in Jackson, California, the Gold Country Paracon. I will be one of the speakers there alongside many other speakers, phenomenal individuals in the paranormal community. If you want to learn more about it, please listen to our most recent episode featuring Elsie Lottie of Gold Country Paracon and Bethany's Home Sweet Haunted Home. If you're in and around the Sacramento or even Los Angeles area, then please head over to goldcountryparacon.com. There you can purchase tickets and read more information about this amazing event and its paranormal investigations, the speakers, the vendors, and the haunted walks. I could tell that this is going to be a big event, and there'll be more soon annually. Also, our friends Zachariah the Witch and Ansley of Spooky Foodie will be hosting a dinner complemented with cocktails, ghost stories, and an investigation at the famous and yes, haunted historical Rainbow Bar and Grill. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event, guys, because they don't usually do investigations and these types of events. So there are a couple of tickets left. If you head on over to Eventbrite, Spooky Foodie, Rainbow Bar and Grill, if you put that in the search bar, you'll find those tickets, or you can head on over to Zachariah the Witch or Spooky Foodie's Instagram. Their information is on their bios and links where you can find out more about the event and purchase tickets. The event is on October the 11th, and this includes so much. You get a talk, a good meal, a mocktail or a cocktail, ghost stories, and a paranormal investigation in some of Rainbow Bar and Grill's most active areas. Bryce and myself will be in attendance. It's going to be a really wonderful time. Okay, now with that said, we wanted to present to you a little mini-sode provided by some of our favorite episodes, two of our favorite episodes from our Patreon Secret Podcast Society Saturday Night Ghost Club. If you're not already a Patreon member, then what are you doing? You can help the podcast by donating $1 or more per month for however many months you wish to donate. And you can help this Hollyweird paranormal train moving. You would be granted access to our personal investigations, video interviews, and also ghost stories from people off the streets that you'll be hearing. Some of these people are our friends, acquaintances, even strangers that, started sharing their ghost stories with us. So the first two stories that you'll listen to, one is from our friend Carrie Cahill. You might remember that name. She plays Diane in The Walking Dead. She's an actress, a phenomenal actress, and she's one of my really good friends. She has some really interesting ghost stories based on her time on set during the filming of The Mayfair Witches. She had a little stint on that show, and she talks about how the whole entire cast and crew were greeted one evening by some unusual animals just out of the blue. And then she goes on to talk about one of the most haunted theaters in New Orleans, Le Petit Theater. And then another one is our most recent one, and that one is from Pennhurst. One of the tour guys were able to share their experiences of what happened to them during a walkthrough in one of the locations on that property. It's a good story. So yes, we hope that you enjoy. We hope that if you're not a Patreon member, that you sign up and pretty much continue listening to some of these great stories and watching some really good behind the scenes coverage. And you can find out more information of our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Hollyweird Paranormal. If you wish to follow us on our social media, you can at Hollyweird Paranormal on Facebook and Instagram. We're under at HWP Podcast on X. And if you want to learn more about Hollyweird Paranormal, shop our merch store, listen to past episodes and seasons, and read our bios, you can do so at hollyweirdparanormal.com. That's our little website there. We're also gearing up for some more Listener's Tales episodes. Those are our favorite episodes to do, where you send in your ghost stories. Please send them at hollyweirdparanormal@gmail.com if you would like to submit your ghost story to the podcast, because we love to read them and scare Bryce out of his skin. All right, guys, that's enough of our spooky notes, and let's get on with the Minisode, and let's get Hollyweird. Everyone has a ghost story. We all have ghost stories that have crawled into the deepest parts of us and never let go. For some people, it's their personal ghost stories. Let's just hope that these ghost stories don't even involve you. Welcome to the Saturday Night Ghost Club. Let's gather around to cross this creepy threshold.
This is Carrie Cahill recording. So what I found really funny with the Mayfair Witches thing, particularly in the warehouse, was there were animals that showed up. Keep in mind, this is live fire gas. And it's a warehouse floor. There's nothing on it. There's nothing to live on. It's dust. It's nothing, right? And there were all these daddy long legs that came out. There was like this little tiny gecko that I and I looked insane at one point, probably in between takes, because I went and caught it and made sure it got somewhere and safe. And so as much as other people wouldn't think that's necessarily a haunting thing, I was just oh, the animals have come out to see what's going on. And so that's what I think is little shit like that would happen. Where I was and I mean, when I say daddy long legs, we're calling other men they were just I was laying there dead while she's saying her call to the demon, and the daddy long legs were hello. And I was all right. I was I get it. Give me a minute. You're gonna get to my face, and I can't move because I'm lying dead. I was in very not older building, and so that was the thing I noticed. But there was this one when we were going to kidnap her, the youngest character, right? I know her actor name more than I know her other name. It's Madison. Okay. When we, as the group, were going to kidnap her, right at the place we were entering the trail was a giant spider web with those ones that have the yellow thread. Oh, yeah. And it was building its web while we were doing the whole scene. The entire scene, we would walk by, and it was constantly building its web. To the point where we literally talked to the camera, and we're you should probably get this on B-roll. It's pretty amazing and beautiful. And then the director went by, and I was oh God, what is that? And we're yeah, that's the spider that's just hanging out. Yeah. I would being around. Yeah. And there were armadillos. Yeah, I stood on the same thing, and they had a little chase around our base camp. So, where the actors always have chairs that are near set. Yeah. We're all hanging out, and the armadillos came out en masse and started chasing each other. And I was trying to get them away from crafty. And they were not having it. They were chasing each other. And I was all right, okay, the animals have come in, and they're what are you guys doing? What stories are you telling? We'd like to be a part of this. And that was the stuff I was because I lived in Louisiana 20 years and I've never seen a live armadillo.
anything. But you never seen, working in film, you never seen animals come out like that. They are usually afraid.
Yeah, they run away because there's so many people and it's so much noise.
Yeah.
So they run away. They literally, and Daddy Long, like everything, basically most animals are like, ooh, that's loud, it's scary, and you don't like, it's weird, so we'll leave. And it's opposite. Every scene we filmed, I was like, there's Daddy Long, like, there's a big spider, there's some armadillos chasing each other, and they almost got to my chair and like tipped it up. Like, I mean, and I was like, okay. I was like trying to herd them, and I was like, what am I doing? And then one of them ran at me, and I did not. Herding armadillos doesn't work. Never do that. Just don't try. You know? Yeah. They came out and then didn't hide.
I wonder if you guys channeled a specific, like, deity or witch or something.
It was coming in where they're like, ooh,
Lilith,
what are we doing?
or someone.
Yeah, they're like, what's happening? We're here. And I was like, are you? Because it's fire and it's loud.
Yeah.
And they're like, but we'd like to talk to you. We're the Daddy Long Legs on your shoulder while you're filming.
Now, at these old locations, did you guys feel anything, or did anybody have anything weird happen to them in these older locations in New Orleans? Because when you bring the energy of a film set, things can get channeled. Actors are naturally conduit, where you're literally putting the words of the dead at times and channeling a character that is big to life.
I'm trying to, like, for me, and I don't know, like, everybody knows, but, like, I completely believe in ghosts. So I'm always like, all right, let's pay attention here. That's why, like, for me, the animals, I was like, what are we doing?
You knew something was up.
I was like, all right.
Something was up.
What are we talking about here? And, like, all these spiders, and
keep talking.
And I think that was this thing where that for me was the thing I felt, where I was like, whoa, why are you guys here? Like, you do not want to be around this. There's lights everywhere, there's people, there's movement. Like, most of the time, all animals avoid that. But, like, we didn't film, for me, I didn't go into any older houses. So I didn't have those, and I feel like I may have I have two people you can probably interview for those, because I was like, I didn't get to go to the old houses. Yeah, theater. Do you want to hear my theater story?
I want to hear it, of course.
So I worked at Le Petit Theater in Nordic, which has at least 3 ghosts, and I'm worked in the light booth, which, if people who don't know theater, I'm up high, it's dark, I have a tiny light, and then there's a light board and a computer screen.
Yeah.
And I'm there with a friend, Dane, and we're just watching the show. And the thing we've always kind of known about this poltergeist is that basically if he doesn't like the show, he'll mess with the electricity. And so this show it was fine. It was probably good. I don't know. But none of the characters was a butt. And so the butt comes on stage. Literally a butt. Like, it's shaped like a butt, and it's talking out of a butt. Yeah. Well, the light, the board, and the computer screen start just, up, down, dark, light, like everything is messing up. And the reason I know it's not a typical New Orleans power surge is because nothing else changed. Our lamp that was on the script, perfectly fine.
And everything,
like the lights outside in the lobby, perfectly fine. Nothing else happened. That's why it wasn't a power surge. And these lights were just going up and down and up and down. And if Dane hadn't been there, I would have thought I was crazy. And I looked at him and he goes, I guess he doesn't like the show. And that's what he said to me, and I was like, guess he doesn't. And the actors were, like, looking up at the booth, being like, I guess the sun's big, the clouds. And I was like, and in my head, I'm like, I can't fix this. I cannot fix this. And, everything. And I was like, and then when the scene was over, he was like, geez, that was terrible. Yeah. And that's the one that I was like, yeah.
That always sticks to mind.
It always sticks to mind. And then the other story I've heard, but that's secondhand.
Yeah.
Is my friend Michael, who I won't do his last name, but he would do this. He would tell his story for you. He was doing a play there, runs out of the dressing room. They're all going to go have a drink after this show. It's what actors do. And he hears this voice, and he's like, Michael, your jacket, don't forget. And he's like, oh, yeah. Runs back up, grabs his jacket, and he realizes no one else is up there. And that's the costumer ghost. He's helpful and kind. Everyone has said that. She's like, oh, yeah. He's like, don't forget your jacket. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And what if the other ghost there?
The third one is the one that I've heard is malevolent. And basically my dear friend Sue, who used to work there, like, what she said is, so that when I started working there, I was helping to redo it, which meant destruction a little bit.
Yeah.
And I said, so talk to me. And she said, oh, talk to them and let them know you're there to help. And then it'll be okay. So I did. People thought it was crazy, but I was like in the rafters being like, I get it. I know it's weird. I'm up here, but I'm not trying. We're trying to do some stuff. Like, we're doing the lighting grid first. And then one of the people who worked there who didn't do that was taking all the old theater seats out and got caught in the truck he was driving, and the truck ran over his ankle. And that's really hard to do, by the way. It's really hard to get stuck in your own truck rooms and then, like, run over yourself. And I asked him one day, I said, have you talked to the ghost? And he said, come on. And I went, okay. Like, if you don't want to talk to him. And who knows? Like, it could have just been an accident. But I was like, but he's not an Instagram person. He's very responsible. But I was like, you need to talk to them because you were taking all the old seats out and they did not know what you were doing. And that's the one that I have always been like, that's the one that I went. Yeah, you got to be careful.
It's okay.
Yeah, like, all right, I get it. Like, because you'll get in the rafters of Le Petit, and I was like, and I felt like there's pulleys from like 1850 up there. I mean, it's old.
Yeah, it's very.
And you were like up there, and you're going, and the air gets weird, and you're just like, okay, hi. I'm like, everything's okay. You're like, eh, like, because you just get a feeling. And not everybody's going to get that feeling, but I do.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
I do. I was like,
yeah.
And that's why when I like went on to other projects, and then he was like the TD there. I'm not naming him because he wouldn't be comfortable with that. I was like, you got to talk to him. And he's like, and I like, kind of wiped it up. And I was like, ran over your own ankle.
Yeah.
At a big, huge box truck. Like, that's really hard to do. I was like, you need to tell them while you're taking it easy. So part of the theater had to turn into a restaurant for money. Yeah. And that's the part of the theater the poltergeist is in, where the light board happened. So all that's gone. Well, I went there for one of my bridal shower lunches.
Yeah.
And I get there, and I was curious, and I asked one of the waiters, because she wasn't taking cards, and I said, can I ask you a question? And she's like, what? I was like, does your technology go, like, crazy all the time? And she goes, all the time, like, every day. Like, this happens all the time. Can't use this is wrong, and then I said, She goes, what? I said, it's the ghost. He's unhappy. She's like, what? I was like, he's pissed, because it's a restaurant, not a theater. And so I bought him a drink and put it on the sideboard. So I was like, oh yeah, we're going to fix this. And like, we're just going to like acknowledge this while I'm here at least, because I can't control it when I'm not. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy him a drink. But she's like, oh, it's all the time. It's constant. And it makes no sense. Because it's new electricity, new everything. Everything's new because they read the whole thing. Makes no sense. And she's like, it's always a problem. I'm like, yeah. That's why. She's like, that makes so much sense.
So now did they provide him with a drink in hopes of it?
I have to go back and see if she does, because, like, there's that famous restaurant that puts a seat out for the ghosts every night.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, if they're doing that, I'm like, maybe it's better.
All right, my name is Kaylee Eisenhuth, and I'm a makeup artist here at Pennhurst Asylum. And on the very last night of the haunt season that we have here, we have like a blackout night. So all of the lights are shut out throughout the haunt. But they put glow sticks up, like taped to the wall, to kind of direct people on the way to go.
Right, because it's so dark.
Right. And so when you're a makeup artist, we have to walk through the haunt at least once a weekend to just look and make sure our makeup looks okay, to check to see if it's good in all the lighting.
You're getting all the last looks.
Right, yep, exactly. And we were walking through the one night, on this blackout night, and I watched the glow stick fall off the wall where it was taped on, which that's not that crazy of a thing. The tape could have fallen, whatever. But nobody else was in the room, but I watched the glow stick get picked up and chucked across the room. Yeah, in this black, like it's like a back hallway that's pitch black. Nobody was in there, like nothing was going on. And then in that same room, that was the very last room in the haunted house.
Uh-huh.
And after I watched this glow stick get chucked across this room, the doors at the end of the hallway, they're like heavy metal doors, like school doors kind of. I watched them open and slam. And again, nobody was there. Like there was no one who could have opened them. Me and the other makeup artists who were in there went and like looked outside, and there's security who are kind of close by. I was like, did you guys mess with the door? They were like, no, but we saw it open too. Like nobody came out. So that was my personal craziest experience.
That's your personal and craziest one. I'm sure people have seen so much stuff here. Wow.
Yeah, for
do you
sure.
think that was something trying to tell you that it was there, or do you think it's something residual? Or
So a lot of people who have worked here a long time say that a lot of the spirits become very active towards the end of the haunt season because they know that people are leaving, and since it's a lot of like kids who lived here, they like they like playing with people, and they like having people here, and they like having, you know, people kind of dressed up as kids and talking like kids and stuff for the haunt, because they feel at home and they're sad that everybody's leaving. So I don't know, but that's just what I experienced.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, because there are a lot of people who attend these types of locations, and these locations actually pursue like a haunted interactive experience, like a haunted house.
Right.
They're like, well, that's pissing the spirits off. But here you feel like, no, they actually like it.
They like not being lonely, kind of.
Oh,
but yeah.
It breaks my heart.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. But thank you so much for your story.
You're welcome.
That is so crazy.